Welcome back. We are at step 9, and we're talking about the different pieces of the puzzle that your clients are going to be going through as a coach through the AHA journey. When we're talking about the problem born to you to solve, there are a couple things that start to trigger right away for them, like how am I ever going to make this happen? Which again, in the last video, we talk about suspending how. The other part of suspending how is really surrendering it. And surrender is a big theme as you're going to heal, as you come into your empathy ways, because you're going to have a lot of feelings that are going to course through you. And learning to surrender your feelings and hold your life with your hands wide open and surrendering the control that you desire, which is your codependent self. Our codependent self wants to control things, where we come into a place of real surrender. Can I surrender this how? Can I surrender these feelings? The other thing that happens when they come into homecoming with your clients is they start to see old friends and family, and those people may not have done any healing work, and your client's healing. And so what you have is an immediate conflict. They are still in their codependency, and you, as a person who's healing, wants everyone to come with you. This is what I say. If anybody has been in your codependent triangulation, you can't be their teacher. So that's hard to accept because now you've had this newfound feeling, you're feeling better, you're healing, the thorns coming out. Now you want everyone to come with you. So you run home in homecoming and try to say, let's all heal together. And they're like, whoa, 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 we don't want any of that. They may project into you their own feelings of how they see you. They may attack you, all these kinds of things. And so clients need to be very much aware that they need to surrender that, and they need to have very clear boundaries for themselves. When they move into other people's lanes to show them the new way, look at all these things I've learned, come to the pasture. A codependent is still high on their drug. They don't want that. They will have their own rock bottom of when they want to actually go heal their pain. As much as you want to pound on the door and say, come over here, this is going to be good for you, you can't drag people in the healing journey. So understanding the surrender and the boundaries that you need to practice at this step is a huge thing as you are learning about your how and the problem born to you to solve. We're like little kids. We like find a new thing at Christmas, a new toy, and we want to go home and say, come and do this with me. It's the best game in the world. And what you come to realize is that most of the times you can't be anyone's teacher. In fact, they don't want you to be their teacher. They want to stay exactly the same for now. They will have their moment or they may not. And you need to understand your boundaries where it's like, sorry, not going to happen. Can't do that. So I'm going to stay in my lane. And your clients will experience a little bit of mourning around that. Like, why can't I bring everybody with me? You want to be Tigger. And you know how Tigger has the long stick and he has a little hanky on the end of it. And that's all Tigger ever brings with him. That's really this journey. You can't often bring the people back with you. So take any movie. I'm going to use Doctor Strange again because I felt like Doctor Strange was such a good example of the hero's journey. He goes back to see the woman he loves who's in his previous life. In fact, they even made the second movie, I think, with his previous homecoming person in there. And he goes back in his new self knowing that she sees him only in this way and they can never be together because he lives on one side of the moon and she lives on the other. And there's some mourning in that because we've made up these stories. And so it's the story that we get attached to. And it's the feeling that we've given the story we've told in our head about all of these other people as we go back into our homecoming. The most important part of this journey when you are in homecoming is to see your cast of characters just as that. They're not people we're here to heal. They're not people we're here to change. They're not people we're even here to teach because they may not be ready for the teaching. And that's perfectly fine. They are people that you know, you love and bless them. They're part of the journey as to why you are the way you are, but you don't need anything from them. You can choose to see them or not, and they will flare when you say, no, sorry, don't want to see you right now. Just taking care of myself, and they'll flare and attack because it hits on their sensibility. And people are not used to boundaries. We are a society addicted to codependency. Boundaries are mean or cruel or how dare you? And when you say, sorry, I don't need that, people are like, what do you mean you don't need it? And so you're going to experience a lot of codependent flares when you go into homecoming and you go back to see the people. If you are healed or on a healing journey, and those people from your world of the past who are not, they will flare. So the biggest thing is to know your boundaries, protect your space, toe in the water, go and see them, but don't think you can drag them. The moment you drag them, they will attack you. You will lose that battle eventually because you want to fly over on the light side of the moon, on the soul side, and they will grab your ankles. They will poke darts into who you are. They will attack this methodology. You as a coach, they will go for the jugular because you threaten the very drug they've been on. And that's hard for people to understand in the codependent flare, but it's the most thing to be aware of, particularly at this step, even though they've done all of this healing work. The codependent ego dogs, they come for you. And they come for you in covert ways, and they hit you in the nose, and they try to pull you backwards. It's the last ditch effort of the ego. So the person needs to be on guard. Yes, you can go home, but be aware of your boundaries and maintaining your inner space.